Right, hello and welcome back everybody. We are here today. It's Wednesday. I took the day off yesterday. Just really wasn't feeling it. And that's kind of one of the things I've been preaching, right? If you don't feel like doing something, it's not going to kill you. Give yourself a day off. I've made quite a few videos over the last week and it's a pretty time-consuming process. So, just needed the extra day off. But we're back here now. It's Wednesday of this week. Doesn't mean you're watching on a Wednesday, but it's Wednesday for me. So Monday we did our push workout. Hopefully you were able to follow along with that. Hopefully you were able to get through it. Again, still if you have any questions about modifications or anything like that or form, feel free to reach out. Got quite a bit of positive feedback about those videos. Rather, that video, there's only one of them. So yeah, happy to hear that. Today we're going to be doing a pull day, which is the opposite, obviously, of a push day. So push, we worked out our chest, triceps, and front and middle delts. Today we're going to be working out our rear delts, back, and biceps. So all the muscles that we are going to use to pull things. Makes sense, right? Perfect. So get started here before too long. This one's a little bit easier in the way, what do I mean by easier? I don't mean it's an easy workout. This one's a little bit easier because you don't need as much equipment. You don't need the bench and stuff as much. So I feel like there's going to be less modifications, but we can still go through some and talk about a couple of things like that if we need to. And as well, if you're having trouble with any of the exercises or any of the movements, just let me know and we can get that figured out for you as well. So without too much further ado, let's get started. We're going to start today with the bent over rows. You can do these with the bands, you can do these with dumbbells, or you can do this with a barbell if you have a barbell. I feel like the barbell is the best way to do it, but I know not most people aren't going to have access to one of those. So we'll do them with dumbbells, and I'll just show you really quickly what you would do if you wanted to do them with the bands as well. So let's get started. All right, so I'm here on my knees. The camera's going to be a little bit low so you guys can see where the most of the movement's going to be pretty low to the ground for this one. So I'm just going to kneel here for a second and just go over a couple things really quickly. In general, when you're doing any sort of back movement, the two really important things to keep in mind, and this applies to a lot of what we said before and what I was preaching the first week, or the first video rather, keep your back arched as much as you can. Don't slump over, don't let your back round. Keep your back neutral, stick your butt out a little bit. That's what we want to be doing. And when we're doing any kind of back exercise, we don't need to keep our shoulders back. We're going to be pulling our shoulders back. But when you're doing each row or pull down or whatever, try to do your best to really focus on squeezing your shoulder blades together. What I was told early on is to basically imagine that you're trying to either hold or crush like a chestnut or something in between your shoulder blades. So that's the movement that we're going for. We really want to be squeezing. It's all about stretching and contracting, right? So when we're doing the back exercises, let's make sure we're squeezing those back muscles nice and tight and getting the full range of motion there. So I'm going to start the movement off here. I'll be standing up. I don't know if you'll be able to see my face, probably not for these, but you'll still be able to hear me, so that's okay. I'll do a few reps head on and then to the side so you just can kind of see the form. We'll start with the dumbbells, and then I'll do a few reps as well with the band so you can see those. So let's get started. So we're going to be holding the dumbbells just in front of us. This is how you would be holding a barbell. Let's just pretend that it is a barbell and that the things are together. We're going to be bent at the knees. Like I said, back is arched, chest is straight up, and we're just going to pull right into the I'm going to stand up, turn sideways, bent over, back nice and arched, squeezing. Make sure we're squeezing those shoulders blades together as hard as we can on every single rep. And there we go. Nice and simple. Now, I'll move these out of my way here, if you don't mind. Just picking them up with my foot because they're nice and light. And I realize you guys can't see my feet, but we're going to basically just be doing the same thing. You're just going to stand on the... already out of breath. You're going to stand on the rope attachment. If you want, you don't have to hold it by the handles. You can hold it by the rope itself. And we're just going to do the same movement. pulling up, offering us resistance along the way. And then going to the side, same thing. Your feet, I forgot to mention this, but your feet should be approximately shoulder length apart. Nothing too wide or nothing too narrow. Keep the back arched, like I said. And that's it. That's our first movement of the day. I'll have to do a little bit of reconfiguration here. I'm going to move the camera. But in the next movement, we're going to be using the bands again. No dumbbells for this one. We're going to be doing the lat pull downs. So let me get set up for that. All right, so back with the handheld tripod that I have here, just because this one's smaller, and I'm going to be showing you guys a couple things. So it's nice to keep this one really low to the ground so I can show you things a little bit better. So the next one, we're going to be using an attachment for the cables. You're going to want to use something above your head, so something that's high up. There's a couple of options that we have here. First, I'm just going to show you this little thing that we have right here. Basically what it is, there's a hook. It's going to hook onto what I'm using is I have a little loop in my ceiling. So it's going to hook onto there, and then you can run you can see that that's a Velcro type strap. You can run your resistance band through there, and we'll be able to do the pull down movement with that. You can also use, if you have one of these, which most of these sets come with, that's the door attachment. I showed this off in the first video that I made. You can attach that to the door. Just make sure, I'm going to come over here for one sec. Sorry, my ceiling light is on so I can show you guys a couple of things, but my door opens this way. You can hear my sounds coming from my living room. You don't want to attach it into the side this way because you can potentially pull the door. Door can swing open, band can snap back and hit you in the face. It's not a good feeling. I don't think I need to tell you that. So use it from the opposite side against the way that the door opens. And then just to show you here, sorry, I'm just going to turn us around. Here's my attachment that I have. As I told you, it's just in the ceiling right up there. I have the bands running through it so we can get down below and underneath. Perfect. So I'm just going to pause this for one sec and get you situated. Give me one moment. Okay, this is a really weird camera angle, but whatever. So you guys can see this pretty clearly here. I'm going to be doing this for my knees. You can do it sitting. If you want to sit on a chair, whatever you want. It's not quite high enough for me to hold it just to stand up and do it. So we will try to stay seated. Same principle applies. Keep your back arched. Squeeze the shoulder blades together when you're bringing it down. This movement is basically going to be replicating a pull-up. I don't have a doorway where I can put up a pull-up bar. I also can't do an unassisted pull-up. If you have a pull-up bar, you can do pull-ups instead. They're great. I would say they're better than what we're doing, but not everybody's going to have access to that. Not everybody's going to be able to do it. So let's get started here. I'm just going to go for 10 reps. So holding one band in each arm. Like I said, I'm going to kneel down. I'm going to arch my back. I'm going to squeeze. So just imagine that you're holding a pull-up bar and that you're pulling yourself towards it. Getting a nice hard squeeze at the top of every rep. And that's it. Like I said, there's not much of a modification that we're going to do with these. They're just going to kind of be what I showed you there. But yeah, let's move on to the next exercise. I have to check my phone because I can't actually remember what it is. But we'll be back in one sec with another setup. All right, so I'm back on the floor again, as you can see. For this one, we're going to be doing a seated row. You can't really use the dumbbells for this one again. Everything's a row for this. You know, it's nice to be able to have the bands for doing some of these instead. Similar to our first movement where it is a row. This time, but we're pulling different directions and stuff like that. So, as it says in the name, seated, you're going to stay seated. You don't have to be seated on the floor. You can be seated on a chair or on a bench. It's just going to be relative to what you're able to anchor your weight onto. So you want to be able to, as you see right here, I have my bands. You want to be able to anchor it onto something that's approximately like abdomen height, waist to the bottom of your chest, somewhere in there. Make do with the best of what you have. Obviously, you're not just gonna be able to attach it to anything you want. Same thing. Make sure that whatever you're attaching it to is secure, because you don't want to pull anything over or tip anything over like that. But yeah, so me personally, I'm sitting on the floor. I actually have it looped through my bench, so my bench isn't gonna move. Let's get started. I'll show you these. Super simple. Same thing. I'm going to keep saying it. Keep your back arched. Squeeze your shoulder blades together when you're bringing the weight back. Right? So I'm going to be turning and facing this way. Not going to sit cross-legged. I'm going to be sitting with my feet on the bench, also so I don't pull it towards me. Another thing too with this is you want the weight to be pretty taut. Like for me, there's a lot of slack there. Like I'm not really pulling much weight when I'm pulling back. So I'm actually going to, and this is dependent, like if you have a bigger room or a bigger space or shorter bands or whatever, you might not need to do this. You can just get further away from the object that you're holding onto, but I'm pretty limited on space here. So I'm going to not hold the handles, I'm going to hold the band itself. That's much tighter. So what we're going to do, sit up straight, keep that back rounded, and we're just going to row towards us. Squeezing back and letting your arms fully stretch out to get the full range of motion. A lot of people just do them like this. This is what I see a lot in the gym. Try not to do that. Try to let it go forward. I would even go forward a little bit more, like kind of lean forward and pull back a little bit. But with the resistance band, that creates a little bit too much slack, so it doesn't really work that well. Yeah, just making sure we're squeezing like I said. Pulling the weight in to our abdomen, approximately to our lower chest. And that's that. No modifications really for those. I don't think there's much you can do. I'm probably wrong. It's not something you can really do with the dumbbell, because the dumbbell would just be, gravity would be, you'd be holding them up and stuff as well. It's weird. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. I believe after this, we're doing bent over dumbbell rows. So again, more rows. Let's get to it. All right. Sorry, I know I'm a little bit out of the frame here, but that's all I can do. Keeping it low again, because you're going to want to see the full range of movement on the bench. You don't have to use a bench for this one. You can just use any flat surface. Doesn't matter. Like edge of a bathtub, a bed. Well, a bed is a little soft, but I mean, if that's what you have, that's what you have. We're going to be using dumbbells for these. You can use bands. This one you can just kind of swap between whatever you have. Pretty simple. We're only going to be working at one arm at a time, so make sure that you do both sides. You don't want to have any imbalances, and you want to keep it as even as you can. Obviously, you have two arms, two sides of your back. You're going to want to work them both out. So let's get to it. This one's pretty simple as well. Everything's pretty simple, really. So what we're going to do, we're going to have one knee up on the bench, and we're going to support our weight however you're comfortable. But you're going to want to keep yourself as flat as possible, 90 degrees. As you can see, my back is arched. I'm going to do a shorter set for these. I'm just going to do 5 on camera, so I'll do 5 on each side. But here we go. Pulling up and back, just slightly back. Making sure that we're squeezing our shoulder blades. There we go. Turning and facing the other way so you guys can see a little bit better. Back is arched again, squeezing up. Bringing it in nice and tight to our chest. Making sure that we're still squeezing there. We're almost done here. We've got 2 more movements for today. Next one is going to be face pulls, which are our rear delt exercise for the day. Pretty similar, but just a little different than what we've been doing. For that movement, we're going to want to have the band set up top, just like we had for the lat pull down that I showed you before. So just let me get set up for that, and we'll continue on. All right, so we're back again. 2 more movements today, like I said. We're doing the face pulls. The name is a face pull because you're going to pull something towards your face. So be extra careful on this movement that your band is indeed secured. You want to have it higher than your head, so we can use the door attachment like I had showed you before, or we can use something anchored up high like I have. either way works. Just make sure that it's secured. You really, really don't want that band coming loose and snapping back and hitting you in the face, because that's not going to be a good time. So just be extra careful with that. So this one we're doing is called the face pull. Similar to everything else we've done, it is a rowing exercise, but we're hitting it from a really different angle. As you've noticed, most of the rows that we've done, we've been rowing into our torso, into our lower chest, right? Pulling up like this. I guess this one we're not, but all the rowing exercises we're pulling low. So this one, the difference is that we're going to be pulling high. So instead of hitting our lats and in our back, we're going to be hitting more of our rear delt, which is the back of your shoulder. Let's just get right to it. Same thing. I'm standing for this one. You can sit if you want to, but I feel like you should probably stand. You don't want to be under the weight. You want to be kind of to the side of the weight because you're pulling it higher. Keep your back arched. You're still squeezing together. You're not going to be squeezing your shoulder blades as much. You're still going to try to, but we're hitting it from a higher angle, so it's gonna feel different. Okay. So I'm just grabbing my band here. Just going to do 10 reps of these to show you guys. Check out the spreadsheet if you want to know how many reps you should actually be doing and all the rest times and everything like that. But let's get to it. So pulling up higher, we're going to pull right into our face. I mean, you're going to pull alongside your face. But you want to make sure that the band is nice and tight, no slack in it. Feeling a nice resistance, it's going to start pulling you back. And as you can see, I'm also leaning back a little bit just to increase that a little bit. 9, 10. That's it. Oh, look at me, I almost fell. That's it. Nice and simple. Only one more exercise to do after this. No more sitting, no more bench, anything like that. You can grab your band if you have your bands, or you can use dumbbells. The last exercise we're doing is going to be focusing on our biceps. So we're just going to be doing some nice old-fashioned bicep curls. So let's get back here in just one sec. All right, so we're on to our last movement. Like I said, we have our band again. I'm actually going to do these with the dumbbells. I'm just going to show you how you can do this. I know you can't see my feet, but you're going to want to keep your feet about shoulder width apart, pretty much for everything unless I say otherwise. So what you would do, you would just step right onto the band on 2 points, have it running under both of your feet, and there we go. Now you have some resistance. So you can do your curls this way if you want to. There we go. They're nice and easy. Simple. I shouldn't say easy. We're not going for easy workout. We're going for simple workout. I'm going to be doing these with the dumbbells. That's what I prefer personally. But the bands are just as good. You can do the same workout. It's just a personal preference for me. That's all. A few things. A lot of people do dumbbell curls incorrectly. There's a lot of variations of dumbbell curls. We're going to be keeping it pretty simple for this video. Just basic standing curls. I mean, you can do them sitting if you want. I prefer them standing. You want to keep your form as strict as possible to make sure that we're working them out properly. I'll show you things that people do wrong that change the movement a little bit and take the focus off the biceps. And I'll show you a couple of small variations you can do, just I guess a little bit for cheating. Not that you should cheat all your reps, but if you want to cheat your last maybe rep or two, it's not a huge deal. But we're still making sure that we have good form when we're doing the cheat reps. So I'm just going to grab my dumbbells here. Feet shoulder width apart, like I said, leaving them by our sides. You can either do these alternating, so one arm at a time, meaning if we're doing 10 reps, you're going to do 10 of each arm. So that'll be more like 20 reps in total. Or we can do them together. So front on view, what we're going to do is we're going to just keep our arms straight. Your biceps should always be pointed straight down, and you should just be moving at the elbow joint. You shouldn't be moving at your shoulder joint. So we're going to curl them up, twisting as we do, making sure that we're contracting and squeezing the biceps as much as we can at the top of the rep, just like that. You can squeeze a little bit more if you want to and bring them out. That's 4. That's 5. And I'll switch to the side so you guys can see me on the side here as well. Standing up straight, back arched, just like always. Nothing crazy, but not being slunched. like I say, slouched, I should say. Slunched isn't a word. So we're going to pull these up. As you can see, top of my arms aren't moving. Biceps are staying in place as much as possible. They might move like a centimeter or two, but nothing more than that. And that's it. Nice and simple. So a couple of things that people do, instead of standing straight, I'll do these without a weight. Like I said, we're pulling them straight up like this. A lot of times people will actually curl up this way. And you're not actually focusing so much on your bicep, you're putting a lot of the strain on your shoulder. So you're not getting as much bang for your buck. You can see my arms are swinging when I bring it up. We want it to be like this. It's really simple. It's the biggest thing that I see people doing all the time, especially when people are trying to curl like really high amounts of weight that are just kind of completely unnecessary. You can stay pretty low with your bicep curls, even when you're getting big and strong. Make sure you're keeping the form right. I mean, you're still getting the workout when you're doing the form wrong, but you want to optimize, right? If you're doing a bicep curl, you want to be focusing on your bicep and making sure you're getting as much bang for your buck as you can. The other thing people do, and this is like I don't want to say that this is something wrong, because it's not. It's an alternative move, but people do hammer curls. So I don't really like doing hammer curls. A lot of the functionality of the bicep obviously is to pull, but if you put your hand on your bicep, it's also to twist your arm. So a hammer curl, I'm just going to do it one-armed here so you guys can see, is the same movement that we did before. Like, this is what we did, right? Hammer curl, you don't twist, you just bring it straight up as if you're hammering something. So hammer curl is okay. I don't really like doing full sets of them. If you're getting a little tired at the higher end of your set, you can do maybe one or two hammer curls, just to give your arms a little bit of a break to make sure that you're finishing the set. That's what I mean by cheating. It's not really cheating, but it helps you get to push yourself a little bit more, because it is better than stopping early. But yeah, you really get a lot of extra work if you're making sure to to twist your arm as well when you're bringing it up and getting the full range of motion and functionality of the bicep. So other things I see people doing, again, it's not the end of the world. Like I showed you before, the improper way of doing it. If you're, instead of curling as you would, on your last couple reps, if you need a little bit of assistance to help push through, it's not the end of the world. Again, it's going to help you to really push those last couple reps and to really push the pump and to get yourself, tired and get those muscle fibers torn down. The other thing I see people do is kind of like a bouncing, where they're using body momentum. So like I said, and it's the same thing that I do for calf raises. Keep nice and calm, nice and still, and really just focus on moving the bicep. But what you'll see is a lot of people going like this and kind of using the momentum of their body to swing the weight. Again, maybe your last rep or two, you could do that if you really need to, but you're pretty prone to tearing something or to hurting yourself by doing that, because you can lose control of the weight. And typically, if you need to cheat that much, you're probably using too high of a weight. So just check your ego, drop down the weight a little bit, and really focus on your form. That's what we should be doing. That's what I keep saying. But yeah, so that brings us to an end for today. I'm just going to put these biceps, not to put my biceps on, I'm going to put my dumbbells down. That's it. I showed off the calf raises in the video that we did yesterday, so I'm not going to show them again today. There's no need to put them in every video. We're ending our circuit with those every day. Same reps, same number of sets. I think it's 4 by 15 to 20 for the calf raises. Make sure we're really focusing on our form with those, being strict, coming to a full stop, really getting that squeeze at the top, and not just letting momentum take over and bounce. So that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed the workout today. It's nice and simple. Doesn't mean it's easy. It means that it's simple. They're two different things. If you have any questions, you can get in touch with me either in the comments or through social media. My Instagram and my Twitter are in the bio below. The spreadsheet, I mentioned that partway through the video, the spreadsheet is in the bio below as well. It has the full, it's a Google Doc, so you can download it to Excel if you use Excel. You have it on the go, you'll have it offline. But you can just use it to track your weights because it is really important to do that. Make sure you get a meal in after you're done. Get some protein in there. You don't have to take a protein shake, but have some protein in your meal. If you want to take a shake, go for it. But yeah, we'll be back. I'm not sure if we'll be back tomorrow. It might be Friday. I'll see how I feel. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit sore. That's what we want. The soreness will, it'll start to dissipate after a time. It might take 2 to 3 days. But as you work out more and you do the same routine, you're not going to feel the same soreness in a month that you will today. Because your body kind of gets used to it. So it's important to keep progressing and adding more weight and stuff like that. I'm rambling on. Hopefully everybody's having a good new year so far. Hopefully we're staying on track with our resolutions. And yeah, we'll be back again, either tomorrow or Friday with a leg video. That will be fun. No bench or anything needed for that, I believe. But you can use bands. You can use the kettlebell for 1 or 2 of the movements. And the dumbbells, so let's be ready to do that. That will be a lot of fun. It won't be fun at all. And then we'll be finishing off the week with a core workout sometime on the weekend. So stay safe, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Farewell.